What's good with the collective, man? Y'all know we back with another banger, another reaction. I appreciate everybody who been tapping in, running up, and subbing up. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop an upload. Y'all know we coming with about 4 videos a week, man. And this is for entertainment and educational purposes as well. And when you like and comment and subscribe to the channel, it helps the collective get bigger, helps more people who like this type of content tap in with this content. But man, I ain't gonna hold y'all. Y'all know it was a crazy Super Bowl. That ritual was crazy, right? Just playing. But I ain't gonna hold you. We're gonna get right into the video, man. Let's go.
To show you is the most shocking discovery I've made in my truth journey. The true name of God has been removed from our Bibles over 6,000 times. And that name is Yahuwah, represented by the tetragrammaton YHWH, which translates to the numerical sequence of 10565. The name of God, YHWH, repeats over and over in your DNA. The shortened version of his name is Yah. We see this in Psalm 68 verse 4. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Jah. But guess what? The letter J was only invented 500 years ago. If we go to the original Hebrew for Jah, it is Yah. Right, and we know Jehovah is a false translation because Hova in Hebrew translates to ruin, disaster, and calamity. Who's the one that comes to kill, steal, and destroy? Destruction. It's Satan. What did Satan say in his heart? He said, I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. He wants to take over God's position, which is what got him cast out of heaven and why he's so angry now. He's going to try to deceive all of us. The name Yah is also written on your face. Y-A-H. You also say the name Yahuwah every single time you breathe. All right, he breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Your bronchial breath, the inhale and exhale, and the inhale and exhale of the vesicular breath are both represented by a 3-to-1 ratio. All right, Psalms 150 verse 6, let everything that has breath praise Yahuwah. You're saying his name every time you breathe and you don't even know it. Right, we know it's not Yahweh because the breath is a 3-to-1 ratio. Yahuwah, not a 2-to-1 ratio. The name Yahweh is a false pagan god. You can look this up. Yahweh is literally a pagan goddess. It's all over the internet. It's a pagan deity. It's basically just yet another deception from Satan. So the YHWH was actually removed and changed to Lord over 6,000 times in the Old Testament. So every time you see Lord, it was originally his name, Yahuwah. Right, the YHWH, which looks like this. So this name, YHWH, Yahuwah, was changed and removed and translated to Lord 6,000 times in the Old Testament. This is due to the ineffable name doctrine from the devil. Right, this is basically a doctrine given to the translators that is said that we should not pronounce his name because it's too holy to be uttered. But that would actually destroy the third commandment. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to nothing or to naught. For Yahuwah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught or to nothing. That's what it actually means to take the Lord's name in vain, is bringing it to nothing, which is what Satan did. Really not supposed to be saying Jesus or Jehovah. The J was invented 500 years ago. Now, what does this name actually mean? If you translate his name into Hebrew, and remember they read right to left, it states, behold, hand, behold, nail. Or in other words, behold the nails in the hand. Right, so the Most High's name literally prophesies the death of our Messiah long before it happened. Remember, Satan hates this name, right? Because what did the death and resurrection of Messiah do? It gave us power as believers, right? And it also gave us salvation and gave us entry to Yah's kingdom. Right, the true name of the Son, now it's not Jesus, it's Yahusha. Shah in Hebrew means salvation, so this translates to Yah is salvation. Remember what Messiah said in John 5:43. I have come in my Father's name, and you have not received me. But if someone else comes in his own name, you will receive him. Right, he came in the Father's name, Yahuwah, because Yahusha means Yahuwah is salvation. But we are all praying to Jesus, which means Jehovah is salvation. We know Hova means destruction, ruin, and calamity. So we should not be praying to that name, right? This is due to Hellenization, right? Which is Greek influence. But the original name is Yahusha, of the Son, which means Yah saves. But the Greeks transliterated it to Jesus, which is false. We don't change people's name. Especially when he told us in Exodus 3 verse 15, Yahuwah, Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my remembrance to all generations. He said this is his name forever and his memorial to all generations. Imagine I went to your gravestone, your memorial, and scratched off your name and changed it or transliterated it. It's ridiculous. Now remember, every time it was supposed to say YHWH, it was translated to Lord 6,000 times. Now, I understand the word Lord is a term for the Most High. But if you go into the Hebrew, Baal translates to Lord. Right, so Satan has basically taken out God's name, brought it to nothing, which violates the third commandment. It has us all saying these Greek Hellenized transliterations of the true name. And guess what? His name is actually in the older Bibles. This is the 1560 Geneva. Yahuwah. Right, that's how it's said in Greek. Right, but what did they do? They even changed that to Jehovah in all the newer Bibles. If y'all want a part 2 on this series, let me know. I got a lot to say. This was a very hard one for me to accept. I had to take a lot of praying and research. But he's given me peace on it now, and he's given me lots of confirmation. May Yah bless you guys. Don't forget to like and follow Shalom, which means peace in Hebrew.
Let that man cook.
Jeffrey Epstein used to own Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie & Fitch, Bath & Body Works, Express, and it's still more. But I found this out from watching a documentary called Victoria's Secret's Angels and Demons. It's on Hulu. And long story short, Victoria's Secret founder Lex Wexner became best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. But it was like real weird because he became best friends with him when he was already a billionaire. Like it wasn't like he met him when he was down and out or he was young. He was already grown and a billionaire. And even his friends and like close comrades and shit were just like, why are you even friends with this guy? Like what? I say that to say that guy owned all those things. He gave Jeffrey Epstein for a few years power of attorney. Power of attorney basically means that he could do anything. He could sign off on anything. He could make any kind of purchases, anything when it came to that guy. And so since that guy owned all that stuff, technically Jeffrey Epstein kind of owned it in a sense too, because you have power of attorney over everything. I say that to say Jeffrey Epstein used to pretend like he was a scout for Victoria's Secret. And that's how a way he used to get girls. He used to pretend and be like, oh yeah, well, you know, I do scouting for Victoria's Secret. And if you want to be a part of Victoria's Secret, come to my hotel room, all this other stuff. Some people like filed claims and stuff like that. And it went up to the official owner, which was Lex Wexner. And his like associates and stuff like that, like they told him about it. Like Jeffrey is pretending that he's a scout and all this other stuff. Like what's going on? And he was like, oh, I'm gonna, ask him about that. Like that's not right. He's not a scout. Long story short, that man didn't do nothing. But I find it so crazy how like intricate all this Hollywood stuff be and like all this political and all this other stuff, because I don't know. I just feel like, how the hell did we not know that? How the hell do we not know Jeffrey Epstein had power of attorney over all those brands? And people used to spend money on all those brands, and then we found out about the Jeffrey Epstein thing, but they never told us about all that stuff. I feel like they didn't tell us because they don't want us to stop shopping at those companies. I don't know. I just find that shit real mysterious.
Some of that I didn't know. But even if people know that he was power of attorney with that, and he was grabbing some of them girls from Victoria's Secret, having them on his island, people still gonna spend their money there. Them companies still got power. Like, it's a psychological thing. A lot goes into it. Some people like the brand because of the way the material feel. It's a lot of different things. And I think for people to stop dealing with companies as a collective, I think it gotta be a personal experience that happened to you not you directly, but a personal experience that happens to some of those individuals who shop there in order for them to continue, for them to stop shopping there and stop spending their money there. But as far as like, I get what she's saying, but them businesses to me still hold too much power over a lot of other people. Like, it's people like us who watching these type of videos and we're gonna be like, hey, she right, maybe I shouldn't spend there no more, because we looking at it from a deeper perspective. But we look at life from a different and a deeper perspective. But there's still people out there who ain't gonna really care, and they're gonna be like, man, well, I still need whatever item they need from some of them stores. And yeah, even if they are told about some of those things. But yeah, I didn't know some of those things. I did not know he gave him power of attorney. I didn't know that. But and in that first clip, dude cooking, he had his notes set. He had his notes lined up. So my question, and just because I be reacting to some of these don't mean I agree with everything. But again, some of this is entertainment. Some of this is things that's brought to my attention that's new, and I bring it to y'all. And I'm still doing some of my due diligence as far as learning certain things to know what I truly believe as far as some of those topics. But to those who did disagree with that, why you disagree? And if you agree, spam why you agree. But I want to hear y'all take on that first clip.
A lake, a substantial distance.
Yeah.
Like, is he your best student? Like, that seems like it would get a lot of attention.
It's, I would say I have several students, and many of them don't want to show them up. They just do for themselves, and they don't want to be famous. For this one, you mean Alex, he's just really strong, and that was his big dream to fly. And before we start my school, he asked me around 3 years. At this time, there was no messenger, there was nothing, there was only email. He wrote me almost every day. And then I was in Ukraine and I met him there. And I start to teach. I thought if he will not believe me, at least in a small part, I will stop. But he believed everything I told him. And so I know if the student believes their master, they will get something. If the people have doubts about my words, there is no way to continue. And I saw that he is really very, very strong with his dream. And it took around, if I remember correctly, it took around 1 year, and he started to make this levitation. I was really proud about him. Because it's something, you know, but he is a really good, he's very strong man, he makes a lot of sport, and he's from nature very strong. And I just tell something what people shouldn't maybe know, but I convinced him to start with a magic. Because before he didn't do it so really properly. And then he asked me how to fly. I explained him, I taught him. And then he said, what will now happen to me? Maybe will people come from some special secure service or something like this? And I told him, if you pretend to be a magician, no one will come, because you can hide it. That was a good trick, you know. If you just hide it like you're a magician, like a David Copperfield, like something like this, no one will believe that you can do this. And if you show some small tricks, and then you show something that's really wow, people will think that's trick as well.
Sound logic, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Does make sense.
I was born on the 13th. I turned 13 on Friday the 13th. My first album went gold in the US in 13 weeks. Every time I've won an award at an award show, I've been seated in row M, which is the 13th letter, or like the 13th seat, or the 13th row, or the 13th section. It's really a good number.
Didn't the Super Bowl, if you add the two numbers, don't those add up to 13 too? But also, I ain't never seen nobody levitate like that. And I'm having a hard time believing that dude was doing that without like wires attached to them. I could be tripping, but then just because I ain't never seen it before don't mean it ain't real. So again, it could be real. It could be real. Dude made a lot of sense though. Do y'all think that's real? Y'all think it's fake? I also want to know, why is he covering his face like that? Why is he covering his face? Let me know if y'all think it's real. If y'all don't think it's real. And if you know it's fake, or if you don't know it's fake, or if you do know it's real, spam it up and tell me how you know. Tell me how you know. Because I did look through the comments. I didn't see the whole thing. I just seen the beginning. And I'm like, he levitating. Let me pause it real quick. So I ran through the comments. Nobody's really saying nothing. A lot of them was just talking about him levitating. Like, coming up with jokes and stuff like that. They really wasn't talking about nothing. So I'm like, yeah. Somebody let me know something. Because I'm about 50-50. I'm about 50-50 just because I ain't never seen it. So just because I ain't never seen it don't mean it ain't real though.
13, Taylor's lucky number, which bodes very well for the Chiefs.
Super Bowl 58, 5 plus 8 is 13. February 11th, 2-11,
oh my
13. Versus the 49ers, 4 and 9.
Oh my God.
13. 1 seed versus 3 seed, 13.
Oh my God.
Brock Purdy's jersey.
Anyone's putting money on the Niners at this point?
Yeah.
You're fighting God. You're fighting God herself.
Why 13? What is the
Okay,
reason?
I was born on the 13th. I turned 13 on Friday the 13th. My first album went gold in 13 weeks. Also, thanks. My first song that ever went number one, it had a 13-second intro. And I didn't even do that on purpose. And every time I've ever won an award at an award show, I've either been seated in the 13th row, or row M, which is the 13th letter.
Wow.
And when I won the Horizon Award at the CMA Awards, the producer came up to me when I was sound checking and said, "All right, we're going to go in 13 seconds. There are so many numbers."
Wow. There are 13 ice cubes in here. There are 13 ice cubes.
You want to know something really weird, too?
Go ahead.
The first time that I ever played on The Tonight Show
Yes.
was the 13th of February, 2007.
I'm not a flat earther or a globe earther, but if you forced me to pick one, I'd pick flat earth for the following reasons. For one, we might have a credible scientific explanation for the firmament. And if you click on this comment and watch the original video, you'll see what I mean. But to make a long story short, the ozone layer is comprised of O3. O3 freezes into a solid at 420 degrees below Fahrenheit. Outer space, and flat earthers, don't give me a hard time about that term. It's outer space. It's space out there. It's the best term we have. The temperature of outer space is negative 450 degrees Fahrenheit, making it colder than the freezing point of oxygen. Therefore, it's highly possible that that oxygen is freezing up there into a glass-like substance. When oxygen freezes, it turns a light blue. Now, if oxygen is freezing at the top layer that touches space, right below that, it would be liquid oxygen, which would, of course, explain the waters above. So how would solid and liquid oxygen stay all the way up there? Well, as soon as it got warm, it turned into a gas, and then it just flowed up there. And then it get cold again and turn into water and ice. Here's where it gets really interesting. A lot of people will tell you that the rainbow is shaped like a bow because each individual water drop is circular. That's an absolute BS lie. The water provides a screen. The rainbow is always there. We just can't see it all the time. When the rainfall happens, then we see the rainbow. So the rainbow is always a bow. And why? Because the light that is emitted from the prism reflects the shape of the prism, because we live under a convex dome prism. Now, if you subscribe to the idea that the ice wall is all around the outside edges of the Earth, again, it would explain it connecting to the frozen firmament. When we get to the edge, we get to the coldest place, out in outer space. And why is it so cold? Well, people need to understand what energy, temperature, and time actually is. There's lots of people saying that you can't have temperature without matter. That's absolutely untrue. You just can't measure it without matter. But mark my words, if you stuck your hand outside into space, it would freeze. So why does this happen? Because there's nothing energetic happening out there. Therefore, all the energy from your hand would leave and go out into space to try to equalize. right? Because nature, matter, tends to try to find equilibrium in energy, in states of matter, etc., etc. Heat is directly correlated to energy. When something is energized, it heats up, right? So when you heat up a molecule, everything gets faster in there and it starts vibrating, right? That's energy. It requires energy for the molecule to vibrate. And the faster it vibrates, the more temperature it has, the more heat it has. So if you go out where there's no energy in outer space, which is very limited because all we're getting is the radiating energy from the sun, no convection, no conduction, matter is going to get frozen into its solid state very quickly, no matter what the matter is. All matter freezes into a solid state at 0 degrees Kelvin. Outer space is 5 degrees Kelvin. You only need 5 more degrees to be at absolute zero. And what happens at absolute zero? Time stops. Literally. Time doesn't exist. Because what is time? Well, time is a construct created by human beings. And we use measurement devices to measure time. But those measurement devices need to be energized, whether it's hands on a clock or the rotation of electrons on a cesium atom. That requires energy to keep it into a cyclic state. It requires that energy. If there's no energy, if there's no temperature, then time doesn't pass. Interestingly enough, heaven is thought to be a timeless place. Well, technically, if heaven is outside of this firmament plane that we exist on, that it is in fact timeless if it gets to that place where there's no temperature. And for all the haters and trolls that are going to come into the comments and try to make fun of people that are interested in this theory, or people who try to speculate on it and ask more questions, if you just come and say, oh, you're dumb, but then don't explain yourself, understand that you're the one that looks like you're dumb. Looks like you're just trying to be the bully that doesn't understand something, like we're in grade school. I'm not saying I'm entirely right about all this, but these are some interesting ideas to play with, especially since most scientists up at the top lie to us all the time. We don't know who to trust, so we're speculating based on logic. So if you're interested in having a healthy conversation with another human being, ask some questions, have conversations in the comments. And if you're going to be a jerk and a bully because you can't wrap your head around these ideas, we're just going to block you.
That's like the second time I came across one of his videos, and bro is smart. I'ma just say that now. Bro's smart, and he broke that down real well. But also how he pinpointed somebody just insulting in the comments. I deal with that all the time, and most of the time it do come from the people who believe it's a globe. A lot of the time it's more so insults, and then they give their reasons, but a lot of the time the reasons that they give, we've already discussed. We already been watching the video, and I'll be like, what? Especially when it comes to insult, I don't even respond. Like when he says you just get blocked, you just don't get responded to. Simple as that. Why I gotta waste energy on that when I could be wasting energy on, not even wasting energy, using energy to get the right type of clips, the right type of information, the right type of energy I'm trying to give. I want that back in return, so I'm trying to give what I want to attract. So when I see people do their little insults like that, I be like, what he said, I just don't have to say it. It's like, they gonna learn through experience, I guess. But yeah, I think bro is a genius. I like what he talking about. And that's like I said, the second, maybe third video I had of him, and I'm like, I get lost watching his clips. He be going in. I like him.
I say so-called African Americans because not all, but 98% of the so-called Africans is in America and are not African at all. We actually are indigenous to this land, and we come from this land. So we have to quit acting like that all life started in Africa. No, all life stimulated everywhere. There have been black people on every inch of this planet since the beginning of this earth. You know, so we have to understand that and really do the research. And when you really do that research and you travel the world, you will see that. When you go to Asia and you go to China, the first people there that are still there now that they have ran to the mountains was Asiatic so-called Africans. The only reason why they put African to anything that's black, but that's not true. That's not true. Matter of fact, if you go to Africa, most of your African tribes don't even call that land Africa. They have another name for it. So where do we get this name from? You start saying that these names are named after conquistadors or people that go on quest and take over things. So the reason why I say so-called African Americans, I say African Americans because we identify as that as black people in America. I say so-called because me personally, I am not an African. Now, am I saying that I'm not in a relation or my DNA doesn't match Africa? Of course, we all are family. I want to keep that clear. Everything was indigenous. You have indigenous people of African lands. You have indigenous people of American lands. You have indigenous people of Asian lands. You have indigenous people of European lands. The indigenous people of European lands was called the Moors. They call it the Dark Ages. Why do they call it the Dark Ages? Because it was ran and controlled by dark people before white conquistadors.
I asked him, what secret? And I asked him, what secret is he talking about? He said, yes, America is Asia. He was like, that's what the Seminole War was about, the Louisiana Purchase was about. And he was like, look up this map. It's called Tamari. And he said, y'all, it's Tamarikans. So I went to look up at the map, right? And I was amazed he was right. He was like, that's y'all true nationality. And he was like, when the Seminole War broke out, that's when they won and they took over America and started calling them Americans, spelled it different. And the Bible is based upon y'all. All pastors know this, Freemasonry know this, everybody know this.
Pyramid on the Nile and Northeast Africa doesn't have stair steps going up it. It doesn't have temples on top of its summits. They could not go and break through the boat on the temples atop those great pyramids. There are none there. And that was the clue that Egypt was writing about the Americans. And the deeper I got into the records, the clearer it got. They started actually saying, and because I'm in love that land so much, he said this is the love land, and that word was Mary, the beloved. Mary, M-E-R-I, Mary. And the land, of course, as before, is Ta, the beloved land, Ta-Mary. And they kept that name and just put the Ta on the end of it. So Ta-Mary became a Mary Ta, we simply say, America. We kept the name that Egypt gave to the Americans. So that was the big mystery behind that $10 million map that Martin Waldseemüller made and then put the name America on it in 1507. And then those who knew and those who were trying to hide things said, wait a minute, you can't put that name on here. And the next time he reprinted that map, it was off. It was gone. Because that's the name that Egypt.
When you go to the hospital, all right, and you have your baby at the hospital, you basically telling this company, America, that you are not able to take care of your baby. You don't possess the medical needs to bring it into this world, and you need help. So they let you have the baby in the hospital, but you have to sign the baby over to the corporation. That's what a birth certificate is. So when your mama signed off on the birth certificate, when your dad signs off on the birth certificate, they signed you over to the company. Now, this is why they are called parents, because they are paying rent. Rent. They are paying rent to the government, all right, to babysit you, but you belong to the company. That's why if somebody was to come and harm you, it's not going to say motherfucking the United. It's not going to say, okay, say somebody come harm you and they last name Jones. It's not going to say Jones versus, say your last name Smith. It's not going to say Jones versus Smith, nigga. It's going to say Jones versus the United States, nigga. Because you harmed the property of this country. That's why they charge you and send you to jail. It's called a charge because they are literally charging you and you paying them with either money or time. But time and money is the same shit. This is why everybody in jail has a number. This is why everybody in jail get, like, every day they sit in jail, that jail makes money. This is why they got penitentiaries and stocks and bonds, nigga.
So a lot of people are asking exactly what is it that I saw? What truth did I see that made me change my perspective on our criminal justice system? And this is how it goes. So a person of color in the United States during the Jim Crow era faced disenfranchisement, second-class citizenship, barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, and barriers to housing. Then in the United States, we passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, that said that we can no longer do this, discriminate based on skin color. 21, what is the only label that we can legally discriminate against, that we can legally disenfranchise, relegate to second-class citizenship, have barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, barriers to housing?
If you guessed right, in 2021, convicted felons are the only people we are allowed to legally disenfranchise. Now, do you believe it's a coincidence that 1 in 3 African American males now carry this label of convicted felon as opposed to 1 in 17 white males that carry this label of convicted felon to legally be disenfranchised? If you answered yes to that question, let's look at what's happened between the Jim Crow era and 2021. We've had a 700% increase in our United States prison population. We've gone from 300,000 inmates in 1970 to 1.8 million today and as high as 2.3 million. So in spite of crime rate dropping, our prison population skyrocketed. And it was because we had the law and order agenda. And the law and order agenda increased police spending but decreased our education funding. And by doing so, we created the school to prison pipeline. We also created the war on drugs, which we now know is a war on people. In 1986, we passed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which differentiated between powder cocaine and hard cocaine, which we now know disproportionately impacted people of color. We also had the 94 crime bill with the Truth in Sentencing Act, which led to higher incarceration rates and harsher sentences for people of color. And once I saw all this, my perspective changed, because I know that Jim Crow era never ended. Racism never ended. It just evolved into what we now have as the new Jim Crow, modern day.
You still think you a citizen though? You every time somebody black get killed by the police, motherfucker like, why are they doing this to us? What is you talking about? That's what they supposed to do. Do you understand who the police is? The police job is to protect and serve the country's interests. Who the threat to the interests? We are. We the motherfuckers enslaved, so why you think you only see the police patrolling our communities? They making sure your ass stay enslaved. They the COs, just in the free world. Nigga, that's who locked you up, ain't that? Ain't that who makes sure, who enforced the law? See, once you understand who the police really is, you'll feel like I feel toward their ass, nigga. They're not there to help us, to help the community. That's why you got so few little good police officers that really want to help the community.
Hey, remember, I have no motive. I really do it for the people. So go follow me on We the People TV. Oh, and remember, knowledge is key. I'm out.
Okay, so if Rashad Jamal is breaking it down like that, talking about the things he talking about, why would he do what they say he did? I'm talking about everything they say he did, even the new accusations, the new stuff that came out. If he did what they say he did, why he talking about some of the topics he talking about like that? I mean, they can't get rid of people no more. They gotta throw dirt on your name in a certain way and make it look like you do certain things. That's what they do now. Because they keep getting rid of people, we all start to catch on to it, which we already had. We heard that in the video too before. But that's besides the point. Free Rashad Jamal. He ain't do none of that. But I do want to say, I mean, I be saying numbers don't lie. A lot of y'all be like, yeah, but people manipulate numbers. Sometimes people can manipulate numbers. What about with numerology? Some people say it don't work. Well, for me, it worked. It all starts at what level you vibrating at. And whatever you envision is what you about to attract. Is what you about to get. Especially if you know how the numbers work. It just don't work like that. Just because you a life path something doesn't mean it's going to work. Just because you got numerologies lining up on this end or it's the year of this, and doesn't mean you automatically going to win. You got to line it up for yourself. And you got to be able to know what's what and vibrate at a certain frequency to attract those things a little faster than what you might have if you wasn't vibrating that high. So that's why I'm like, yeah, the way he broke it down on that board, them numbers ain't lying. But when I get to talking about stuff like that, I remember my sister Shez be like, you need to be quiet, stop talking about that stuff. Because I just thought that when I didn't know this video went that deep, but yeah, I'm glad it did. Because, yeah. When I first seen it, I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even know Rashad Jamal was even in that video, but that was a hard one. And spam it up if you agree. Spam it up if you disagree. Me, I agree.
Chile suffered from a wildfire a couple of days ago, right? Everyone technically lost their homes, cars, everything. But somebody took a video that was very questionable. And I'm gonna play it right now. And you guys let me know what you think about this.
¿Será verdad la teoría de la Casa Azul?
Now, look, I'm not one to believe in coincidences, right? I believe everything happens by design. How many coincidences until it's mathematically impossible? Do you get what I'm saying? So, I don't know, guys. Like, this is a very interesting occurrence. The house was barely touched, okay? Everything around it, demolished, burned to ashes. But somehow it managed to stand still. Now, I'm sure some of you remember this video, right? I'm not gonna go into it too much. It's pretty self-explanatory. But I want you guys to comment and let me know what you think about this, because I don't know how many people seen that video, but yeah, that's a strange coincidence, if you know what I'm saying. So let me know what you guys think about this, because yeah, I need to hear some opinions and ideas.
I never seen that video he just showed. That's crazy. Real quick, we be looking at some little dark TikToks, some crazy stuff, make us think, wake us up a little bit. But I thought I'd go ahead and drop that one in there, spread some light, just to show how dope, beautiful plane we live on, Earth, we so call it, is. Some people can't get out there, some people want to get out there, don't know where they want to travel to. That's a little quick a little gem I threw in there. Let your mind wander. Who knows? Some of y'all might end up traveling some of the places. Didn't even know it was there, but yeah. Had to throw some light in there for a second. I think that's fake. Y'all spam it up in the comments and grill them.
NASA? Ooh, you got some splaining to do? Mad face. Mad face. Y'all finally get something worth looking at and you hide it from us? Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's right. Not only did NASA catch something super worth seeing, so worth seeing, the most important thing anybody in this world could ever see in their lifetime, but they've hidden it from the public. Oh, wow. Just wow. And in case you didn't catch me the first time, NASA, mad face, mad face. Look, at this point, we all can agree and we all realize that NASA is by far, hands down, the biggest lie, hoax, and deception in all of mankind's history. Because, I mean, let's be for real, you guys didn't even, hide it well. NASA was founded in 1959, just right after Admiral Richard E. Byrd went on national news to explain that he had discovered things down there at the South Pole. Not at my feet, but down there at Antarctica. And according to Admiral Byrd on his nationally televised program, he explained that he found land just beyond the South Pole. Not just any land, inhabitable land that is larger than the size of America. But the government did not like that, no, not one bit. They told him to zip it and never open it again. But it was too late. The cat was out of the bag. He had said the words people had heard, and so they had to act fast. How do you fix a problem like that? Well, you cause a distraction, a mass distraction. This mass distraction, well, it had a name, NASA. NASA was actually founded in 1958, but sadly, Admiral Richard E. Byrd, well, he would never see the founding of NASA himself because he passed away in, yes, 1957, mysteriously in his sleep due to a heart attack, only at age 60. One of the most physically fit polar explorers of all of our time died in his sleep of a heart attack. And fresh off the heels of the founding of NASA in 1959, guess what was signed? Big one guess. Antarctic Treaty by all 12 countries, making personal and private exploration of Antarctica illegal, even limiting areas where people can fly over Antarctica. Oh my, I wonder why. Y'all, I cannot say this to you enough. There is a firmament above us, an impenetrable dome that God put above us on the second day to separate the waters from above from the waters below. Impenetrable, meaning nothing's getting out and nothing's getting in, making space travel an absolute farce. Do you want to know what is above us, above that firmament? God, and ultimately heaven. This is one truth, hands down, by far, NASA would never, ever, ever want us to know. Let alone, I'm sure they would not ever, ever, ever want to be the people that actually gave us this proof. Which is obviously and ultimately why in 1994, when the Hubble telescope itself captured an absolutely unexplainable, majestic, and absolutely undeniable photo of heaven itself, NASA had to work overtime on a cleanup crew to cover it up. But by then, it was too late. Reporters had gotten a hold of the picture, and multiple stories were ran just like this. But as you can see here, in articles just like this one, after the press got a hold of the picture, guys, the cat was out of the bag. And after seeing this absolutely beautiful, breathtaking photo taken by the Hubble telescope just above our firmament, where God and heaven actually are, it's hard to deny the fact that, yes, in fact, NASA actually got something right. They photographed heaven. They were doing anything and everything to keep this under wraps. They did not want us to see this. They did not want us to know. A gentleman's father who worked at NASA actually gave him this picture, and he applied a few different filters just to show the depth of field and everything. But guys, look at this. Look at how majestically beautiful this is. He was given other photos from the Hubble telescope, like this one that was shot on 11/13/1990. But none of the photographs that he received from his relative at NASA would ever compare to this one. The absolute photo the Hubble telescope snapped of heaven just above us, above the firmament. I mean, y'all, look at it. That's our Abba's house. That's our home. Yes. Is this just wishful thinking, or is that a tree house up there? Because, okay, thank you. This absolutely breathtaking multi-level structure. It looks like a huge mansion in the clouds. It's even got a tower on the other end here and multiple, like I said, levels, tunnels and caverns and caves. But it looks like an absolute beautiful mansion in the sky. A mansion that has many rooms. Like I said, there's a tower over on the one side, and it looks like it has 2 moons. Y'all, when I tell you, staring at this photo absolutely brought me to tears, and I had absolute full body chills when I first saw it last night. Y'all, is that heaven? Is that our home? Did NASA actually, for one time in its history, actually capture something worthwhile, something actually real? Could they have captured heaven in December of 1994? In my opinion, yes, 1,000,000%, hands down. NASA, through the Hubble telescope, actually captured a photo of heaven. And do you want to know why I truly believe this is so? Why else would NASA work so hard, put so much time and effort into trying to cover this photo up and to keep it from the masses, if it wasn't heaven itself? We have been lied to the majority of our lives about pretty much basically anything and everything we've been taught. NASA being one of the biggest, by far, of the deceivers in our world, because space travel, my friends, is a farce. Perhaps that's why God allowed the Hubble telescope to photograph heaven that night, to teach those people trying so desperately to separate us from our Creator by teaching us that the world is not what it really is. Maybe that's why he showed them heaven, to teach them a lesson and to undoubtedly prove that, in fact, heaven is real. Pretty cool. I'm going to hang with you up there one day, right there in that place. That's heaven. That's home. That's our Abba's house. Yeah. And oh, FYI, ooh, NASA, if you think my mad face is something, wait till you see God's. Do not hide the Creator from the creation, and do not separate us anymore from our God.
She was about to get on my nerves with that ooh mad face stuff, bro. Stop it. Just get to the knowledge, get to the topic. But how y'all feel? Y'all think that's a real photo or is it fake? Is it real or is it fake? I'm coming to y'all for y'all opinion this time, man. Let me know. Give me why you think it's fake, why you think it's real. She reaching with a treehouse and a tower and just one mansion. If it's heaven bigger than just one mansion. It's bigger than just one mansion. He not gonna throw all of us in one mansion. Let's just be realistic here. I don't think it's gonna be one mansion. We already hear stories about golden roads, and it just looks way better than Earth and where we at now. We hear all these, you know, good things about it. I think it's bigger than one mansion. But y'all let me know, like, what y'all think. Is that picture real? Is it fake? It's coming from NASA, so still can't believe it because y'all know it's NASA. What if it was like a little bone they was throwing to us, or what if it was like something that they was deceiving with it again, a fake picture? Y'all let me know.
With the backing of CIA, of course. The organization you wanted to join back in the day, as I understand. We should thank God they didn't let you in. Although, it is a serious organization. I understand. My former vis-a-vis in the sense that I served in the first main directorate, Soviet Union's intelligence service.
Ain't that the same thing that happened in Maui?
Have you ever seen hyenas poisoned on this scale? These hyenas were poisoned by a black mamba snake. Here come the hyenas, laughing their way into trouble. They spot an antelope under a black mamba and think, jackpot. But little did they know, their easy meal plan was about to backfire spectacularly. The black mamba, the hyenas, known cheekily as the proctologists of the African savanna, for reasons I'll let you figure out, thought they could outsmart the black mamba. But finding the business end of a black mamba is tougher than it sounds, especially when it's wrapped around lunch. But the black mamba isn't just going to roll over, it fights back, head popping out to confront the hyenas. Realizing they're dealing with a bunch of dishonorable hyenas, the black mamba eventually gives up the antelope. Take it. It's not worth the hassle, it seemed to say. The hyenas, delighted, gobble up their prize, and then nap time. But here's the twist. It wasn't just a nap. The hyenas were dead. Yup, lying there, stiff as logs, some on their backs, others sprawled like they'd partied too hard. It turns out they weren't just stealing a meal. They were poisoned.
Wow.
What is the most dangerous information that you know?
Oh boy. They're going to hoax an alien threat, and it's all a lie. So we are actually in the last year at the point where they've started on that plan. We have got to intercept this plan and stop it. Or if you think 9/11 and the Iraq War was a clusterfuck, this is going to be that 1,000 times worse, that there's a group of people who control this issue that are trying to provoke an interplanetary incident. So the next war, World War III, will be interplanetary. And if there is a serious group of nut jobs, and they have to be put on a leash and stood down fast and quickly. This group started releasing stuff to the CNN and Washington Post and New York Times. Every bit of information they're putting out has the spin, it's a threat to the national security, our sovereignty has been invaded. It's the kind of brainwashing that's already started to try to convince the public there is an alien threat. In the future, what we're going to do and have on this planet is hanging in the balance, and we're going to have to wake up.
You know why I think I'm gonna come full in with it. To anybody who think an alien is a demon or a fallen angel, let me just go ahead and come with it. Tell me if I'm even making sense for the ones who think aliens is demons. For those who think aliens is aliens, this y'all I'm a cook real quick. I'm a cook, man. If aliens wanted to hurt us, right? If there was another species of something out there and they wanted to hurt us, for one, I already said they would have did it, but we've heard in different videos that they don't want to hurt us. They actually admire how humans and how Earth is. They actually admire what we have, the resources. And they actually want us to save the resources. And when we messing with stuff, it messes with some of their stuff. So that's why they coming over here to look, right? Now, what if they're not a threat to us, but they're a threat to our government? So our government created a certain species. They flying these UFOs. They going to create the alien invasion. So those who think the aliens are demons or fallen angels automatically get scared when they stage this invasion. And those of us who think of it maybe from my perspective, they ain't gonna be able to control us, cause we gonna know it's them. So when everybody also scared that it's an invasion and they like, oh, the fallen angels, the demons, they're coming back. Really, it's just the same people who at the top, right? When them same people at the top offer something, the same people saying they demons and fallen angels might just follow them people at the top. So you're falling into their trap. Help, what if it was here to help? And they don't want us to destroy us or our resources, or it lead to them getting destroyed. So maybe that's why those ones is here. But again, y'all gotta let me cook, man. That's what I'm saying. What if they was here to help and the people at the top created a certain entity to make you say, oh, those are fallen angels, those are demons? What if the ones they created was demons and fallen angels? But you so crazy and scared right now, you can't determine which is which. So when that invasion come, don't be shook, man. And don't go following them people at the top when they say they got help for you. Figure it out on your own. It's a better option.
In the heart of every warrior, a battle rages, a battle of truth against tyranny, righteousness against oppression. This struggle, deeply metaphorical, echoes the ancient ballads of Durga. Known also as Chandi, Bhavani, Kalika, she stands as a beacon of courage, waging war against demon warlords like Sum, Nisumba, Chanda, Mund, Domalokhan, and Rakbij. These tales, etched in the annals of Markandeya Puran, inspire us to confront our own inner demons. They remind us that within each of us lies a higher power, a force of nature, a spark of the divine. This power, Akal, is not just the architect of creation, but also an intrinsic part of it. So, warrior, rise, harness your inner strength, stand against the darkness, for in you, as in Durga, burns the flame of truth and righteousness.
Y'all not listening, man. I'm telling you, I think Travis Kelce is about to be sacrificed, right, by Taylor Swift. You know how everything revolves around 13, the 58, Super Bowl number 58. 5 plus 8 is 13. How she talk about 13, how I made the video about 13. This, I believe, this is a ritual relationship. This is not a real relationship. This relationship is a ritual, right? And it somehow revolves around, everything is revolving around 13, right? I'm telling y'all, my personal opinion. Could be right, could be wrong. Because remember, Travis Kelce was dating a black chick. And then the New York Times all of a sudden made some dumbass statement about Travis Kelce inventing the fade when black people been having fades for 5,000 years. They like trying to, he gonna have a big game, I think, at the Super Bowl. And then later on, somewhere now, maybe a month or two later down, he gone. I'm telling y'all, pay attention to the signs. It's a ritual. And I think Travis Kelce is finna be the sacrifice.
I knew they wasn't letting the Niners. I just had this feeling. I was like, man, they ain't no way they gonna let the Niners. It would have been nice to see them pull it out. It would have, but I couldn't see it going no other way. I couldn't. Not with Taylor Swift at the front of that. Not with Taylor Swift at the front of that. And then when I know some of y'all watched the game, and y'all could tell the way the game was going towards the end. They wasn't letting Patty Mahomes, they wasn't letting him out that building with an L. They wasn't, bro. It just wasn't going that way. It had to be Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. They had to get their moment. They had to give Patty Mahomes and his wife their moment. They had to give Andy Reid his moment. Like, yeah, it's part of the politics, man. And for them to come back and say, oh, we coming back next year. We got a dynasty now. It was a dynasty. That was the NFL's move, man. A dynasty. They won it since the Patriots, bro. They had to. What, 03? 2003, 2004? Bro, they had to. They had to. I was like 10 years old then. Wait, yeah, I think I was 10. I think I was 10. Like, yeah, man, they had to. They had to let them get it. Everybody who watched football knew they was gonna let that one go, especially if you already hip to it. Was flying that jet. I know I'm not tripping. I know I'm not. Spam it up in the comments if y'all saw what I saw. If I ain't even gotta say it. If y'all saw what I saw, spam that up in the comments. Cause I think I saw what I saw. But he looked like such a regular dude. Like, he just like somebody you would just see at work, or if you flying on you taking a flight, he look like somebody you would just see just out and about, a principal or like a regular worker. He don't look like he would be who he is. He don't at all. To me, he look like a regular average guy.
But it's a kingdom that was established after 1956. That's not the same Morocco that was there prior to that. How can you have a kingdom without an empire? So you the king of the people you come with, you the empire of the people you conquer. So if that's the kingdom of Morocco, right? But that kingdom was established after our status went politically dormant, i.e. National security here under political status Truth Day 1 in 1956. So it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence. At the same time our status went politically dormant here, right? Classified here, that they were able to establish a whole kingdom, right? With a flag that we already raised here in 1928 when they was under the jurisdiction of the French.
Hey, tell my brothers, boy. America, Morocco. Oh, yeah, Morocco. America is Morocco. Yes. Your brother from Morocco. Thank you. Yeah. See, let the people know, the kingdom know, we're the empire. Ah. It's America, Morocco. Yeah. America, Morocco. Yes. Maghrib Alexa. Maghrib. Allahu Akbar.
They went to the wrong part of Alaska and made the biggest mistake of their life. What they saw was terrifying. A few days ago, a group of Canadian explorers landed in Alaska to look for signs of ancient civilizations that they had heard of. As they got deeper into Alaska and the Yupik territory, they began hearing animal noises, which they had not heard before, despite being professionals and recognizing most animal sounds. When one of the men went to take a leak and came back, what he saw was terrifying. The group all got ambushed and completely beat up by masked figures that looked young. They had spikes coming out of their arms and massive horns, looking like they were mutated humans. The man followed the group until eventually they stopped. The group had their hands tied up to trees and left to hang from there. They then had rocks violently thrown at them, and eventually they were left for the wolves to feast on. The man stayed. He stayed hidden and ended up following the masked figures to a cave. He did not want to enter as he was terrified, so he made his way back. Luckily, he managed to capture some photos of what happened. To see them comment, pics, and they will appear.
Man, I wanted to to see the pictures or video or whatever he talking about. I wanted to see, but that's what made me say it's about. That's what made me about to say it's cap. It ain't real. If he had no pictures, if he ain't had no video footage, man, and he just got us all the way through, he was getting us just to listen to the story, run his views up, and that was it. He ain't had no evidence. That's whack, bro.
So I'm in my Uber going back to my hotel, and let me show you how sexy my Uber driver is. This is so crazy. It is a driverless car. Like, how did you know to like stop at the blinker? Like, this is wild.
195. Astronomers say the magical magnetism of gravity is what keeps all the oceans of the world stuck to the ball, Earth. They claim that because the Earth is so massive, by virtue of this mass, it creates a magic force able to hold people, oceans and atmosphere tightly clung to the underside of the spinning ball. Unfortunately, however, they cannot provide any practical example of this on a scale smaller than the planetary. A spinning wet tennis ball, for instance, has the exact opposite effect of the supposed ball, Earth. Any water poured over it simply falls off the sides, and giving it a spin results in water flying off 360 degrees like a dog shaking after a bath. Astronomers concede the wet tennis ball example displays the opposite effect of their supposed ball Earth, but claim that at some unknown mass, the magic adhesive properties of gravity suddenly kick in, allowing the spinning wet tennis ball Earth to keep every drop of gravitized water stuck to the surface. When such an unproven theory goes against all experiments, experience, and common sense, it is high time to drop the theory.
Well, I've known about this for years. If nobody knows, check it out tonight. We're going to have a late night show on Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. Yes, they've been having atmospherically generated free electricity for years. The place looks like, I'm not even going to say. Y'all just tune in. Look at them pictures. Dodge the hijack. Find out the gist of it tonight.
I showed that clip, not that clip, but that country early on in the channel. Like, I don't remember how early. It was early though. And I remember people was blown away like, bro, I ain't never heard of that place. I forgot all about it. Keep it honest with y'all. Keep it a buck. I forgot all about it. I forgot all about that, man. All these videos I've been just trying to get out, I forgot all about that. That's crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back down that lane, cause that might be a place I want to go visit. Just straight up. I thought it would be Dubai at first, but I'm like, I don't know, it might be that place. Dubai might be second on the bucket list.
12,000 years ago, the global temperature surged by staggering 15 degrees Celsius over the course of several decades. A significant portion of the ice sheets melted, catastrophic floods and tsunamis started. Some areas on Earth became submerged entirely due to the rapid rise in sea levels. After that, however, there was an equally dramatic cooling. Thousands of frozen mammoths and other mammals were found along the northern slopes of Siberia's ravines. Continents experienced mega earthquakes, supervolcano eruptions, and massive fires, as evidenced by layers of ash and rock formations. All these abnormal changes and cataclysms 12,000 years ago led to the mass extinction of megafauna and a sharp reduction in human population, including the disappearance of the Cro-Magnons. Some researchers attributed this catastrophe to meteorite impact. However, the analysis of trace elements in the ash layers at that time showed that the actual cause of the catastrophe was volcanic eruptions.
It has nothing to do with a comet or meteor hitting the Earth, because that would be a random event. This is not a random event.
In November 2023, a study of American and Spanish scientists was released, revealing the discovery of 3 gigantic lava flows on the floor of Mediterranean Sea originating from supervolcano eruptions. the scientists concluded that these 3 catastrophic events occurred in Europe with a cycle of 10 to 15,000 years. The composition of these layers suggests that 12,000 years ago, volcanoes were not merely erupting. Their magma contained rare elements found only in the deep layers of the Earth, near the planet's core. This indicates that the magma originated from deep layers, much like what we observe today. The only plausible explanation for this would be the overheating of the Earth's core. The massive amount of energy required for such magma heating and its ascent from depths could not have appeared out of nowhere. Core overheating can only occur due to receiving additional energy from outside, from external cosmic influence. Therefore, the cataclysms that occurred 12,000 years ago were also the result of external cosmic influence. Another consequence of core overheating, both today and 12,000 years ago,
told me to go check out Crater Lake. We definitely got some clips with Crater Lake coming, because we checked out Pyramid Lake. Somebody was like, man, check out Crater Lake, bro. If you like Pyramid Lake, you're gonna like Crater Lake. So shout out to you, bro. I went ahead, I got some clips coming. Should either be today's Thursday's video, so it should be either Saturday, Sunday, or even Tuesday's video. But if y'all stuck all the way through, man, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you always notified whenever we drop them uploads, man. I know I'm appreciative to have y'all. We got the most latest community collectively going up, man. We hit 30K. Let's go hit 50K. Let's go hit 50K, bro. I got a giveaway coming. Second giveaway this time. First giveaway came, we hit 10K. So we at 30 now. Let's hit 50. I got a giveaway. But, man, I ain't gonna hold you until I see y'all in the next one, man. We gone.
Ay, yeah, I just check my account. Sheesh, at the amount. You